DJ Jarvis are here. The two creators, or two of them anyway, for fantasy's sake.
Welcome to For Fantasy's Sake, where I'm in mourning this morning. My Cardinals dropped the second game of the wild card round last night, and their season is over, unfortunately. I'm joined today on my right on the screen goes by Mr. Brian Craighead. He hosts our DFS Deep Dive show on Friday nights, and also back up the Brinks truck, Nick Brinks. How you guys doing today?
Doing good. How about you this morning, DJ?
You know, if it wasn't for the Cardinals losing at 11 o'clock last night, I'd be in a much better mood this morning.
I get it. All of my wife's family lives out in Kansas, and they're all huge Cardinals fan. I'm sure probably equally to yours. So I haven't talked to them yet this morning, but I know they've got to be in mourning. But they're Chiefs fan also, so you'd love them.
Yeah.
And I'm doing all right here in the Brinks household. I know for a Cardinals fan, probably wish you had Thursday night back right about now too.
You know, I would take the Chiefs playing today, just to kind of make things a little bit better and not have to mourn for a whole day. I could just take my frustration out on the Raiders.
It'll happen tomorrow. You'll mourn for a little bit, and then you'll come out tomorrow and watch Patrick Mahomes light up the Raiders.
What's really nice is in our household, you know, my wife's a Broncos fan, so we all just hate the Raiders in this house. So,
oh, I'm sorry, you're Broncos fan in the house?
Yeah, you know, and she's an Iowa fan, so it's kind of like where Chris has to deal with Spencer Petras and Justin Fields. She has to deal with Russell Wilson being perhaps the worst quarterback in the NFL for some reason.
There were some I was watching that game the other night, and I was like, there are a lot of questions going through my mind on some of the decisions being made here and such. And I would not want to be a Broncos fan. I would not want to be in that locker room right about now. I
think it's possible, and you know, we don't want to talk too much about Thursday night, but Nathaniel Hackett might be the worst coach in the NFL. I think that, and especially watching both the Broncos and the Bears offenses, I think that we took too much stock in that Packers coaching tree.
Yeah, I think somebody said Matt Nagy's out. So, so I'd say he's up in the running for sure, worst coach.
I think for Hackett, he's just setting himself up for it's all uphill from here. Start as low as you physically can. Get the expectations lowered a little bit, and then really start to rip.
Absolutely. All right, boys, let's get to work here. We're going to play a little fantasy football Tinder. We're actually joined for the first time by a not married dude who might actually be able to know how to play a Tinder game because he hasn't been married since the start of the century. So how you doing, Joe?
I'm good. It's been a long couple days, but we're here. We're ready to roll. Maybe teach you guys a thing or two about a thing or two, and we're gonna have some fun.
Well, you're wearing maroon, so your choice of colors is not great this morning.
I'm wearing it because I'm representing the guy who had the interception to clinch the win against Iowa last night in
That's
that
fair.
ugly game that
That's
Iowa
fair.
tried to luck box for 60 minutes, but they couldn't. So
I told somebody this morning, I think that the way they're going to start torturing people is making them watch the Broncos Colts game and the Iowa Illinois game back to back to back to back. And you know,
yeah, I have no problem with how the Illinois Iowa game went. A win's a win. Broncos Colts game. Listen, sometimes you just gotta. That's one of those you got to look in the mirror games and realize what the problem is. You mentioned Nathaniel Hackett being the worst coach in the league. Is Russell Wilson right now one of the 8 worst quarterbacks in the league?
yes.
Oh
and
yeah, 8 worse, sure.
Joe, I'm looking for an opportunity where you can record earlier than 1 a.m. so I can come on and I can talk about my ranking of the 32 best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Okay, that's nice. I like that.
So we'll figure that out someday. But let's play a little fantasy football Tinder. This first one, it's in honor of what's happening in London right now. Romeo Dobbs seems to be a pretty big target here for Rodgers. I think had a couple scores last week. Dropped a touchdown in the end zone. Des Bryant drop. Do we think by the end of the season he could be in the top 12, a wide receiver 1 conversation?
For me, it's a swipe left. I'm as big a Dobbs homer as anybody. That being said, I mean, God, it's hard for anybody to finish in the top 12 besides your perennial top 12 from the last couple of years. So I see him somewhere between 12 to 24, though.
I'm in the same boat there. Wide receiver 1 might be a little high, but if we're gonna swipe right to see how it goes, I may do that. But yeah, I'd say top 12's a little high.
Nick is pessimistically optimistic, and he might leave Romeo Dobbs in the DMs. But I like where you're at here.
I think that if it's like a dynasty type of league, then absolutely it's a guy you want to have and could be a future. This year, probably not. But just as like an analytic perspective, it's another case of you see it way more in basketball where scouts and people get it wrong on just overthinking guys. But when it happens in football, it's pretty bad. And the fact that he fell to the 4th round is hilarious. But yeah, they got one there. He's good.
So you swiping left or swiping right, Joe?
Swiping right.
All right.
Swiping right for the future. Like in 2 years, it'd be a super like. That's where we're at with Romeo. We're out our Romeo or whatever.
Speaking of Romeo Dobbs, did we massively undervalue the 2022 NFL draft class in terms of fantasy value?
I think the jury's still out. Massively would be a question. I mean, you still don't have a lot of running. Like the running back class still looks like what we thought it was. Breece Hall's finally coming around, and had a few good weeks. But Kenneth Walker still getting back, because of his injury, still trying to develop a role. The wide receiver class looks a little deeper with players such as Dobbs coming forward, but and nothing's been effective at the quarterback. So I don't know. The jury's still out. I'm not that impressed yet, but the wide receiver class is just as deep as we thought it was, even deeper.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a wide receiver class that was as good as this one.
Well, 2013, we got OBJ and Mike Evans, and who was the other guy in that class?
No, you got a point. I'm just talking about from like a depth perspective.
No,
but I mean, when you're talking about high end talent,
yeah.
I mean that's one Hall of Famer or a guy who's been really good for a while. Or you're looking at OBJ and Evans, but yeah, it's. Don't we underestimate draft classes every year? When I looked at like the spot sheet for this, I was trying to think of like the draft class as a whole instead of just the fantasy value. And I mean, there's already so many guys that have proven to be fantastic picks. Like we look at like Jacksonville, you look at Trey Walker and Devin Lloyd. Both those guys are hammering home. The guys the Packers went out and got have been great. For your Chiefs, DJ, I know McDuffie's been hurt, but Karlaftis has been good. Looks like they're starting to use Sky Moore. Well, Moore. Pacheco's a guy that they got in the 7th round that's a dude they can play. So,
I'm also big on the Damian Pierce right now. He's
yeah.
up.
Pierce has been really good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's been really exciting to watch this draft class. I know that when we were coming into these drafts, I totally was pounding the desk, say, move on from these picks. People are going to get rookie fever. Go ahead and move these for 2023 picks. And I think there's some guys that were in this draft class that I definitely would be interested in dynasty wise. Olave, it definitely is one that definitely goes out at me. Jamison Williams, I think that he was still going in first round picks even with the knee injury. So, and I really haven't been impressed with the guys that we were like, we definitely need to be in the 2023 draft to get these guys. Bryce Young's been average when he's been playing. Robinson from Texas has been awesome. The dude with the goofy name from Ohio State's been disappearing in games. So
he's been hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Smith-Njigba's been hurt. I think he'll still be like early pick.
Some of the guys we were really pumped up for in the 2023 class aren't doing what we kind of expected them to be doing this year.
Yeah, because there's been some newer names that have stepped up. People are gonna Hendon Hooker, the kid from Tennessee. People are gonna fall in love with him. I like him a lot as like a college, and I think he's the Heisman favorite. I don't know if you want to take stock in him as a pro, but I think Bryce Young's still going to be really good. I love his game. And then the Robinson kid. The fun thing about Robinson for next year is when it comes to running backs, I think you see teams take a running back in round 1 that like don't really need like another, they don't have like a high value need. So like if the Eagles, they're going to have an early pick because they have the Saints pick. So the Eagles could be like, well, we don't really need anything specific, so we're just going to take a running back because we love running the ball. Miles Sanders is okay, but like, could you imagine Bijan on the Eagles? Like, that would be amazing. He's really good. He's awesome.
A little follow-up on Hooker also. Like you were saying, I could see him being the Heisman, but I was surprised. I was looking into him a little bit more. That he's already 24 years old, and he started where? Virginia Tech, was that right?
He started at Virginia Tech. I don't remember if he transferred another place, but I do remember he started at Virginia Tech. Yeah, he's played a while. He has played a while. But hey, I mean, get in where you fit in, I suppose. The other CJ Stroud too, though. He's different, man. Like, I love Young, I love Stroud. Outside of that, for quarterbacks, there's a kid for 2020. I think he'll be 2024 because I believe he's a sophomore now. Drake May, North Carolina kid.
Well, Caleb Williams is that dude, though, in the 2024.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he progresses continually. He's getting, like, he's answering a lot of the questions that I had from last year, but I think May, too, is going to be up there as well. If you just watch tape of that dude, he is legit.
All right, so moving on, since we're not a Devi show. No, just kidding. I know I'd get Brian with that one.
Yeah, I love Debbie for sure.
Are we going to be able to survive? I know a lot of these guys were taken in the first round. Jonathan Taylor's going to be out sometime. Javonte Williams obviously out for the season. Are we going to be okay without those guys?
Let me ask real quick. Do we have a timetable on JT? Asking as a guy who drafted him number 2 overall.
2 to 4
I think
weeks.
he's coming back next week.
Is he?
But that being said, that's a really good question you're asking, DJ. But my question is, how did most of y'all formulate your drafts to begin with? I used to be old school. 2 running backs, first 2 rounds. Last 3 years, I've realized that I kind of do the hero, what they call the hero running back, where I try to go for one major running back and then try to draft 3 or 4 guys beneath him to kind of give me some depth. And so far, the one that's really helped me is Miles Sanders has stepped up, and he's running back 5 right now. I don't know that we'll see that moving forward, but my wide receivers in that league are Evans, Higgins, and A.J. Brown. So, yeah, I feel like I can survive with that without JT.
I think if you had Javonte, you've been kind of surviving without Javonte already, just the way that Broncos offense has been performing. So if anything, maybe you had him and Melvin Gordon and you're like, all right, cool. I can just put all my eggs in the Gordon basket and be happy that he got you 12 points on Thursday night in whatever that was that we watched. JT, obviously, if he missed more time, I'd be a lot more concerned because you got a lot more draft capital into somebody like Taylor. If he's back in 1 week and he misses only one game, you're feeling pretty good about that. But yeah.
If not, go out and get Neon Deion Jackson. He actually scored more points 13 than JT has been averaging for the first 4 games to begin with. So
I do feel bad for the people that picked up Hines and started him this week, and then that happened with his concussion right away.
I said, did he get hurt on like the first? I didn't get to watch the game till like in the 4th.
That was like
did he get knocked out?
Yeah,
early?
he got up woozy. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a pretty like innocent.
Kind of looked like
hit.
Tua got up the first time a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sorry, DJ. I was gonna say real quick that on the JT, Jesus Christ, on the JT effect, there are, like, for me personally, as a guy who drafted him second in a league, but I was able to, a guy I was hunting like at a running back position in late round and middle round, like the later middle rounds, was a guy at Ramondre Stevenson. So getting him, I feel pretty good without him, because I think Stevenson, my thing with Stevenson was through the year, he'll get more and more touches and more integrated into the offense as the RB1. I also, I usually don't go RB heavy early because I just love to get high value wide receivers, especially because the main league I run, we do PPR. But this, I knew I wanted to get Saquon Barkley this year because I knew he'd have a good bounce back. So I was able to kind of fall into JT at pick 2, and then I got Saquon. So I had them both. My wide receivers have been pretty solid. But yeah, going after Ramondre, that was a big thing for me. So if you have a guy like him stashed on your bench, now is the time to put him in. I think Stevenson's going to be I think his production's just going to continue to go through the roof as the season progresses. Could have a big day today too, by the way, against Detroit.
And one last one before we move on to commercial break. I know that most of this game was garbage time, but it's the first time we've seen Brady do anything. Do we kind of feel like Tom Brady might be back?
yeah, Brady's back. And one thing I saw on Twitter this week, for the rest of the season, the Buccaneers have the easiest schedule across the board for fantasy purposes. But I think the time that Brady was, not that at his age, I don't think it matters missing practice time, but he started the season a little bit slow. But that being said, like I said, with the easiest schedule, he's got his receivers now healthy. Godwin's back. I think Julio's going to miss likely today, from what I gather. But other than that, he's got his pieces together, and he's starting to get some help at the running back position outside of Fournette. So, yeah, I definitely think he's back.
You go ahead, Nick. My bad.
Right. I was just going to say I agree, and I don't really have a whole lot to add. Once you mentioned that he's got most of his targets back, or his weapons back, that he should be fine. And as a Brady owner in 2 leagues, like the first time I've ever drafted Brady in my life, I'm hoping that he's back.
I think yeah. If I was a Bucs fan, even though you got lit up on Sunday night, I think that's a one-off. I think the Chiefs were just on a mission on Sunday, and the thing for them with Brady too, they're getting guys back. The offensive line hasn't been a problem like we thought it would be. It's not great, but it's not like an absolute train wreck. Hopefully they get Donovan Smith back at some point at left tackle, because that would just help, obviously. But yeah, you're getting the white kid at as their second running back to spell Fournette, where their running game has been pretty good. You're getting weapons back. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to going for Tampa. And we knew the first 4 games for them was loaded. 2-2, I thought there was a chance they could go 1-3, but 2-2, you'll take it, and especially the fact that you were able to almost win the Green Bay game when you probably had no business being in it. You look at their division being terrible. Yeah, I think good signs for Tampa, and yes, on the Brady being back thing, it's only going to get better for those guys.
So we're all swiping right on Brady being back here.
And Tom Brady might also start swiping right in general, if you know what I mean. Hey.
He's already got some takers from what I gather. So,
what is it that Drake said in back to back? Make sure you hit him with the prenup.
Antonio Brown seems to be interested in being stepdad to his kids. So,
yeah, what a guy.
All right, let's head to commercial. When we get back, more shenanigans, probably from Joe. So,
this episode is brought to you by Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill in Moline and Davenport. Chase away your Sunday scaries at Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill this season. Located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sunday, there's no better place to be. Clints is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And is your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games? Well, you'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City style pop pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clints part of your Sunday football routine. Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. And also, Clint is now serving up their famous pizza and fried chicken on the Iowa side of the river as well. Clint's Pizza House and Chicken opens up daily at 4 p.m. so everyone in the Quad Cities can enjoy their QC-style pizza and Henny Penny fried chicken. That's Clint Pizza House and Chicken, 7th Street in Moline and 1601 West 3rd Street in Davenport. This episode is brought to you by the Corner Tap. Who doesn't need a solid handcuff on their fantasy squad? Grab a bite to eat at Clint's Drafthouse while watching the noon games, and then head on over across the Moline-Rock Island border to the Corner Tap for some libations during the 3 o'clock games. Every Sunday is fun day at the Corner Tap with $3 tall boys, Bloody Marys, Jack Daniels, and $2 PBR drafts. Head into the Corner Tap, 4018 14th Avenue, Rock Island, and get into the end zone. For Fantasy's Sake has teamed up with Route 96 Boutique to raise a little more cash for Toys for Tots this season. From September 11th until the end of November, 10% off of all purchases made with Route 96 on Sundays will be donated to us for our Toys for Tots drive. At Route 96, they believe in girl power. They want a place that people of all shapes and sizes can shop and feel empowered and beautiful. They want you to be the best you possible, and they are committed to bringing you different styles while also providing some basics to express the true you. You can find them on Facebook and at Route96Boutique.com. Again, that's Route96Boutique.com.
all right, Joe, with another wonderful segment there, Joe. I'm really impressed by how well that you were able to read those commercials without moving your mouth. So great job on that.
I do my best, man. Honestly, there's just a lot. And I mean, the first one, like for the first half of it, I wasn't even here. So listen, sometimes you just got to zen it. You got to power through, and that's what we just did there.
And I do want to mention we did have our promo for us raising some money for Toys for Tots with Route 96 this year. So make sure you tell your lady friends about that. Again, I think Joe would look wonderful in some of their mom jeans. So I think that he should buy a pair of those. But I do want to give a shout out to our top performers in our Toys for Tots leagues. We are down to only one undefeated team left. That's in my division, a fella named Mike Ryan. Our top scorer from this week was Adam Damewood from Division 6. He put up 208.7 points. Really outpaced the field this week. And our top scoring celebrity was Mr. Jay Kidwell, who put up 192.62 to lead the celebrities. Definitely did way better than my teams in that league, one of which had Tua at quarterback. So RIP that team. All right, boys, we're going to fill in the blank here on a few things. At the end of the season, blank will be the RB1 in Jacksonville.
It's still James Robinson to me.
Yep, I would agree. Give me James.
I'm just going to say ETN to be different, but I think the way that Peterson uses them, it's the reason I like them so much. You have two guys that are really good, and I think there's a lot of value in having both. But I think ETN more and more will get more touches, but they're both RB1 potential.
I'm going to agree with Joe, and which is dangerous. I think that Robinson's ability to make people miss, his abilities to break tackles has gone down each week. The snaps are starting to even out. I think that ETN even outsnapped while it was like 51-49 last week of Robinson. Things are starting to shift, and I think that ETN's ability, his chemistry with Trevor Lawrence, stuff like that's going to start becoming more and more of an obvious thing. And I think that ETN's going to end up. I think James Robinson's that dude. I said that a couple of weeks ago. I think that he could be the starting running back on the majority of the teams in the NFL. But I like ETN just a little bit more to kind of finally take those reins over.
Yeah, definitely. Again, in a Doug Peterson offense with two running backs like that are legit. Absolutely, both. There's value in having both. There's value, just for them as a roster standpoint. Using both. They have weapons they have weapons they like, and they utilize them really well. So I love everything about the Jags, and I love both of those running backs. The ceiling is probably higher for ETN, though. That's where I felt.
So here's my biggest question, because I definitely have a team where I both roster and start every week both Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon in the Scott Fish Bowl. Where do we need the pair of Robinson and ETN to be where we're comfortable in starting both of those guys every week?
Real quick, the difference, I think, is that on the Jags, you have a guy who's going to get the most looks in Christian Kirk. On the Packers, I know Dobbs, Lazard, I think Cobb today is the guy who's getting looks, but you need the Packers' roadmap to success has to be through 33 and 28. It has to be, So there's that's why there's legit options in those both starting. I don't think for the Jags, their roadmap to winning doesn't have to be, we need Robinson and ETN to be both good. Our defense has been great. Not that the Packers defense isn't, but defense has been good. We got wide receivers. Zay Jones has been way better than I think anyone thought he would be so far this season. So I think that there's a difference in that kind of correlation between both teams.
One thing to say, in a lot of the sleeper leagues, they have really deep rosters. So I think worst case scenario, you could start both of them at least as a flex, but they're not like you said, they're with the Packers and or the Browns for that matter either. So
anything out of you, Nick?
No, I think I didn't have anything to add.
All right. And so blank has been the biggest letdown for me this season.
I guess I can start with this one. Personally, Alvin Kamara, pre-injury, had 12 points in like 2 or 3 weeks. So he was disappointing for me. Plus injuries, you throw that on top. He's probably my biggest letdown personally. And I'll toss around in my head who I think might be other letdowns across the league while you gentlemen chatter away.
I got Kyle Pitts. When you feel like your backup tight end can give as many points as he has so far, and that's Logan Thomas, then you're feeling kind of like, okay, what happened to Pitts here?
This week, we're going to give you as many points as Kyle Pitts is.
Exactly. So not only has he not been producing, but now he's not even playing due to injury. So
The biggest letdown. Is it okay to put Jonathan Taylor in this conversation?
Yeah, definitely could.
Yeah,
That's just on a personal level. Just because I drafted him 2 and he hasn't been the bang for the buck that I thought he would be.
hey, at least you
Maybe.
didn't draft him 1 where I did. So
Well, I was set on taking like Cooper Kupp at 2, but then my guy Tanner took Josh Allen at 1, so I was like, all right, I get it. Another guy I don't know if you would qualify Justin Jefferson as a guy, considering weeks 2 and 3 he was kind of underwhelming. Same for Devontae Adams, but I think both of those guys, and even JT, will go, continue to get better. On a full scale, is Russell Wilson like the short
100%.
answer on fantasy, for in general, for oh my God, we signed this guy for $270 million for 5 years. Big letdowns all around.
For me, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I question whether or not his value may have been overestimated anyway, because I saw on Twitter the other day that, and I think this was after the Colts game. It may have even been before, but his averages are the same as when he returned from injury last year. It really wasn't that drastic of a drop off. So I just wonder if maybe they overvalued him to begin with.
For me, the biggest letdown has to be any tight end not named Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. Waller, Kittle, Pitts, just those guys have just been Dalton Schultz. I know he's been hurt, but all these guys have just put up just turds of games every week. I know Kittle missed the first 2 games, but it's just been really disappointing out of the tight end position this year.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Zach Ertz in round 11.
Yeah, Zach Ertz has been awesome. I have a league where I'm not even really trying to win. Because I stacked up 23 picks and 24 picks. My roster wasn't good enough to win the title, so I kind of tore down. And Daniel Bellinger has been pretty good.
He's been solid. Hey, if you're looking for next year, DJ, for a tight end, that Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, get on board, buddy.
Oh, I'm the tight end whisperer. I know
that boy different. And then the next year after that, Brock Bowers. Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
Got 2 good ones.
I think that you can go search my Twitter from Labor Day weekend last year against Florida State. Me with love eye emojis at Michael Mayer on Twitter. So
he killed us. Mayer and Bowers would both be top 10 tight ends in the league right now. Mayer and Bowers is only a true sophomore, so that just speaks on how good of a talent he is. But both of those guys are easily both the 10 best, 2 of the 10 best tight ends alive at this moment.
Yep.
I think one other disappointment I'll add, just as a general, just a general position group, the Kansas City wide receivers have been. I don't know if there were necessarily a ton of expectations without Hill in that wide receiver room, but I think we expected a little bit more at this point in the season.
I think Joe kind of alluded to this in the fantasy Tinder, and I'm not going to try to drool over too much about this, but Sky Moore snaps are going up. And Sky Moore is going to start producing with those snaps. I also think that there's a thing where they're going to get their timing down with MVS. They're going to get their Mecole Hardman's just been garbage fire. He'd rather slide into the DMs of fitness models right now than get healthy. But maybe that's what he needs for his hamstring. Maybe he needs the fitness model to come massage his hamstrings or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's looking for some personal training.
But I think that Sky Moore, as his snaps go up, the productivity is going to go up. And I was very excited for him to be in Kansas City. So I think we're going to see some things out of them.
So are you telling me dropping Sky Moore when I needed an extra guy was a bad decision? I
won't say I'm holding him everywhere, but I'm also a homer and know that he was, I think, the second receiver in snaps against Tampa last week. So I think big things are coming.
Real quick, I think you could say like the Chiefs' weapons have been a letdown, but like I think maybe us going into the season expecting them to have a fantasy input, I think would have been a bad read other than Kelsey or Mahomes. Because that was the thing I knew like going into the year, like even as good as I thought they would be and as good as they've been, I didn't expect their receivers to put up any gaudy numbers. I don't trust any of those guys.
I think based on what we saw out of him when he was the number 2 in Pittsburgh, I think that it wasn't irrelevant to think that Juju could.
Yeah, that is fair. And he shows a couple pops every now and then, but they're just distributing the ball to everyone so well. They don't need just one guy.
I mean, Mahomes kind of alluded to it going into the season is that there wasn't going to be that guy. And obviously we knew Kelsey was going to get his, but we didn't know anything else. I mean,
no, but I like how they operate the way they are now, considering to last year where, they had no X receiver. They had no like legit running game. And I don't think the running game, it's still a hit or miss now, but when it hits to a good degree. Just because they have more capable backs.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you give this team just a bunch more weapons where it doesn't matter if one guy has it or not that day. They have so many different options. None of them are like tier 1 or 2 options in the league, but they're all above serviceable.
Absolutely. All right, so we're way over on this segment. So quick, I think Barkley just might have broken his collarbone. Nope, he's okay. Maybe that shoulder looks a little limp. All right, regardless, we're not licensed to talk about this game. Quick answers. I guess this is that didn't look good. This is rapid fire because we're way over. Need to get to commercial. Top quarterback this week.
Hurts. I like Hurts this week.
I'll go Brady.
I will go Hurts as well.
Lamar for me. Top running back.
I had Hurts, but I didn't want to play Homer, so I went contrarian. So,
it could be Josh Allen though. They could have a day, especially if they go nuts. Top running back.
Yep.
That hasn't already played. Oh God.
I'm going Eckler.
I think the Chubb Eckler matchup could be the 1-2 matchup this week. So I'll go Chubb.
Yeah, that's true. The Chargers still don't know how to stop the run. Absolutely, I think Chubb's the one.
Oh, that's not fun. We can't all say Nick Chubb. Top wide receiver.
Justin Jefferson's going to have a week this week.
We didn't take Josh Allen, so I'll take Diggs here.
Damn it.
Or Cooper Kupp because
that's
the only guy that Matt.
I was going to pivot to Cooper Kupp because you said Diggs. All right. So who'd you say, Brian?
Justin Jefferson.
Joe, did you input on this? I thought
I'm gonna change 2 answers real quick. I just remembered that the Chiefs are playing the Raiders again. Mahomes is going to be QB1. He's going to light them up. And wide receiver 1, give me Mr. Gritty. Give me Jamar Chase. That Ravens secondary has been hot garbage. Sorry, DJ.
All right, I'll go Devonta Adams then. And tight end 1 before we go to commercial.
Andrews.
Travis Kelce.
It's
Not-
it's Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I like Kelsey there too.
I think I'm going to regret not picking the Chiefs this week, but spoiler alert.
Oh, you took the Raiders. No, I'm kidding.
No,
All right,
you'll
commercial
see.
Time. We'll be back with DFS. It'll be a fun time. Also, pre-apology to Gladys. We haven't re-recorded our DFS promo. I haven't sent one to Joe. So, Gladys, you're dope.
Today's episode is brought to you by Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar in Rock Island. It's the place to be every Sunday this football season. Barbecue Chris will be in the house every week smoking the place up with his amazing menu or mouth-watering barbecues. Cavies will have every game on inside and outside their numerous TV screens. Plus, you can play their adult video games, and they have the loosest slots around. Check out Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar, 1228 30th Street in Rock Island. In addition to bringing fire on the mic, the team at 4Frequency's Sake is still bringing it online as well. Check out 4FantasySakeQC.com this season for college DFS, Survivor League, and betting advice each and every week of this football season. Again, that is 4FantasySakeQC.com for college DFS, Survivor League, and betting advice each week during the football season. With baseball playoffs right around the corner, over a month away, and the NFL and college football seasons right on our tail, it's the perfect time of year to get your daily fantasy sports life in order. For Frequency's Sake has you covered every single week. Tune in to 4Frequency's Sake's DFS Deep Dive on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch every Friday evening, and uploaded every Saturday morning on your favorite podcast platform, where Brian and the boys will be giving you the best daily fantasy sports advice for each and every week to help you fatten your wallet this season. Again, on every Friday night live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, and of course uploaded on your favorite podcast platform on Saturday mornings. DFS advice, DFS Deep Dive here on the 4Frequency's Sake Podcast Network.
Once again, Joe, phenomenal job. I spoke on this before we went to commercial. Brian and Gladys did a wonderful job on Friday night, bringing you some DFS coverage to get you ready for today. We're also going to do that a little bit here. You have exactly 2 minutes, Brian, to talk DFS because we went over on the last. No, I'm just kidding. So, Brian, my favorite question of the week: who we stacking?
Actually, my stack is Tom Brady and Mike Evans this week. That's my number one stack. But I also like Justin Herbert and Mike Williams with Keenan Allen out. And for a little bit more contrarian, Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk. So those are my 3 stacks.
You didn't even say my favorite of the week. I went with a Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith stack this week. But I also did throw out a Lawrence Hurts or a Lawrence Kirk stack. Are you bringing any of those stacks back?
I'm sorry, DJ. If you asked the question, I missed it.
Are you bringing it back on any of those stacks with somebody on the other side of the field?
Yeah, my favorite game of the day is actually going to be the Chargers-Browns. So on that, I would bring it back. You could come back with either Chubb or Hunt, but I like the running game against San Diego. San Diego's defense against the run just sucks.
Yeah, I definitely made it a priority to get Chubb in a couple of my different lineups today. I guess my follow-up question that I normally ask here, tight end's pretty gross this week. As far as you have Andrews in the night game, Kelce Monday night. are you just throwing like Ertz, Hawkinson in every lineup? Like, what are you doing at tight end?
No, you know me better than that, DJ. You know by now I go cheap. So
I mean,
as long as he's
everything's cheap
playing, I'm
this
playing
week.
Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
I like the matchup against the Titans. That being said, and I know this sounds really ugly, if Logan Thomas sits, I'm okay going with his backup, John Bates, to be honest with you. He's sitting at 2,600, and I can pay up elsewhere. So I'm just sticking with the Commanders in this game, even though it sounds ugly. I think Wentz is the king of dump offs. They might not score a touchdown, but they'll get some catches out of it. So
Where I know tight end, I know we're saving money at tight end here. But where else are you kind of trying to save a little bit of cash this week?
well, I don't mind, even though it's a really tough matchup for George Pickens today. I really do not mind him at 4,300. And then, as always, I try to save a defense. I went with the Titans defense against the Commanders. So in that game, like I said, I got the tight end, but I also bring it back to the defense against them. So that's where I'm trying to save money, and it allowed me to plenty of space elsewhere to pay up pretty good for a lot of stuff. So I was pretty happy with everything.
So it does look like Logan Thomas is out. So if you have him in any lineups, go get him out of there, Brian. One of the defenses, I think that this is the only position I'm gone across the board. I worry with that beat up offensive line and the way he just seems to want to give the ball to the other team. Dallas against the Rams seems like a very tasty option, which we've never said ever that in recent memory, McVay offense that we're liking a defense against the Rams.
Use the Rams against the Cowboys. Is that the question, DJ?
No, Cowboys against the Rams with the
Cowboys
pass rush
against the Rams. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. The Rams haven't really blocked anybody so far. Matthew Stafford's arms kind of looking like a noodle anyway. So why not use the Cowboys?
I read a stat that Matt Stafford had the most bets for an interception thrown this week.
Wow.
And what he get sacked last week 7 times, I think, or something like that. So you can always use Dallas pretty cheap. So
Joe mentioned this name earlier when we were talking. I think for me, Ramondre Stevenson is an interesting 5,500, one of the mid-tier running backs. I think he kind of is the most expensive good option or bad option, I guess, here. What do you think about him this week?
Yeah, Gladys and I talked about this the other day. We like both Ramondre and also Harris. So you kind of pick your preference there. They're sitting at one. Harris is at 5,600 and Stevenson's at 55. Stevenson seems to be starting to get the bulk of the carries, maybe a little bit. But either way, if you have a personal preference, you can't go wrong with either to kind of save money elsewhere.
I know a couple of guys I like this week. Damian Pierce against Jacksonville, and then also David Njoku, a tight end against the Chargers. He has never not scored against the Chargers in his career. So I think he'll try to keep that streak alive today.
That's like the opposite of my Kyle Pitts stat.
That's a really good. I did have Njoku in a lineup. I'm actually putting together a lineup right here as we're talking. So David Njoku, we're jamming him in here.
Yeah, and Njoku, he's listed down there right around. Let's see, where did I see him? He was middle of the pack, 3,800, and Pierce, he was down at 6,200 here on DraftKings.
Yeah, they're both great values. I had them as some pivot plays as well. They're good values for sure.
Nick, that was a question, or that was a stat that was so good that would have gotten you points on Around the Horn.
I wish I could come up with it. I heard it on a TV show the other day. It's only 3 games against the Chargers, but he's 3 for 3.
It counts, man. That counts.
Hey, yeah, well, we're taking that. That where it'd be interesting, and that's what I'm doing here on my phone. Here is I'm starting this out with a Herbert Williams stack and bringing it back with Njoku. So an interesting thing. DraftKings, please don't sue me for showing your app on my screen.
Oh,
They should be. We're giving them free juice, man.
They probably want to pay you for just talking about it.
Yeah, we're giving them free juice.
I will say DraftKings at least 100 times a day if they want to pay me for that. I mean, I think about all the people I talk to for my job. I will just pump up DraftKings to them. That might be frowned upon, encouraging gambling to people, but
So along with this, how do you feel about you're on the phone with people? So along with this, how do you feel about Jamal Williams for the Lions this week?
How do we feel about that's really weird that you said that as I'm looking at Jamal Williams. How are we feeling about that? Playing a tough New England rush defense.
I don't like him as well as I did last week, to be honest with you. He wasn't one of my primary plays this week, but at least he'll get the volume. I don't know. I'm not sitting here towards inactives. Is St. Brown playing today?
St. Brown is in.
He is in. That'll change the overall dynamics for Williams a little bit too. Have one more playmaker. So I don't know. I don't love Williams, but you could definitely go with him if you chose to.
Here's a name. Here's a name I'm looking at here. I'm really big Olave fan this week, especially with no Landry, no Thomas.
Oh yeah, against Seattle's defense.
You're digging Olave. I don't blame you. I like him too, for sure. One game I do want to think we haven't mentioned at all. Gladys's game of the week was actually the Cardinals Eagles in regards to using it for DFS. I want to throw that out there. Pretty good options in that game. You mentioned Hurts and Devontae Smith.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like I said, I kind of like what I do is I always jump in the free games in DFS, the ones where you don't have to pay anything, you have a chance to win. I generally can put out a lineup that wins a couple of bucks, and then as we're talking, you make some good points, I make some good points. I always make good points. That's what I do here. That's my job. But it gives me different looks at what we're looking at. So I always like to do a lineup or two while we're doing this, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. So that Philly Arizona game is definitely a kind of a tasty option.
She loved Goddard today, so.
And then Brian's like, "You never pay for a tight end."
I don't pay up for a tight end. I just can't, and especially if you got the top two, not even on the main slate. So
right, absolutely. Anybody else that you want to make sure to mention before we give Joe the floor to talk about what he's betting on today?
No, honestly, that did me pretty good. Like I said, my primary two games are definitely the Eagles Cardinals, and the other one was the Chargers Browns. I think you get those two games right, you got a pretty good chance to win some money today.
All right, Joe, I'm gonna cut us to brief commercial. When we get back on the backside, we'll give you the floor, talk a little whatever you want to talk about.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football. Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and Twitter, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
This episode is brought to you by Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill in Moline and Davenport. Chase away your Sunday scaries at Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill this season. Located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sunday, there's no better place to be. Clints is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And is your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games? Well, you'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, Finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City style pot pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clints part of your Sunday football routine. Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. And also, Clint is now serving up their famous pizza and fried chicken on the Iowa side of the river as well. Clint's Pizza House and Chicken opens up daily at 4 p.m. so everyone in the Quad Cities can enjoy their QC-style pizza and Henny Penny fried chicken. That's Clint Pizza House and Chicken, 7th Street Moline, and 1601 West 3rd Street in Davenport.
All right, Joe. We've already robbed people of their money setting up DFS lineups because we all said something different. How are you going to lose people? I mean, make people money this week?
All right. So today, we switched up the process on the Sinister Six a little bit this week. We went with the best picks that we all agreed with, myself and Mac. Yesterday was a 1-1 day. Things happen. Washington State kind of goofed the gab on us. We were covering until we weren't with about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. But hey, shout out to the USC defense for only giving up 14 points. North Carolina, though, thank you for cashing that one. We have 4 NFL games today that we are on. There are a couple others that we really like but didn't make the cut. Let's start off in Minnesota. As a new rule of thumb, I am not going to talk or legitimately name the team that the Vikings are playing anymore. That is just where I'm at in life. As a fan of them, I guess we're that's where we're at. Maybe that means we're broken up. I don't know. But the fake professional football team that plays in the state of Illinois is going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The Vikings are 7-point favorites. I don't care about that, though. The fact that we're getting a number against that team from Illinois, anything under 8, 8.5, even 7.5, I'm with. Now, granted, I would love if the line moved in our favor to under 7. But listen, we are fading the team from Illinois until further notice. We are swallowing the 7, and we're taking the Vikings today in Minnesota. Plus, I don't think there's a chance Jalen Johnson doesn't play. I know Demo is back, and I know the Vikings aren't great at stopping the run, so that could be an issue. But we're going to trust that the Vikings are going to be able to move the ball at will. Yes, I am talking about that team that plays in the state of Illinois. We're not naming them for a while until they because they don't deserve it. They just don't deserve it. All right, moving on. This one is the one I'm least excited about. Mac Fulton, my honorary Sinister Six guest, is a Detroit Lions fan, and he may or may not be a homer when it comes to picks. So we're taking the Lions plus 3.5. Do I feel great about it? No. But we trust the process. And listen, best offense in the league on the against a team with a rookie quarterback. What could go wrong, I guess, right? Who knows? We'll see. We're not as lofty on this one as we are the others. But Lions plus 3.5. At the end of the day, I kind of put this in here to prove a point. So either we're going to win the bet or I'm going to win and tell Mac to stop suggesting we take the Lions every week. Okay, these last two we have my favorite play, and then we have our hold on to our butts play. Let's start with my favorite play of the week. We are going to New Orleans. And ladies and gentlemen, we are putting real American dollars on Geno Smith. The Seahawks are catching 5.5. Question for the class. Name a team that you think the coach-quarterback combo of Dennis Allen and either Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton. Who do you guys think that coach-quarterback combo should be? 5.5-point favorites against, is there any team in the league?
The Broncos.
No, not even. Not even the Let's Ride crew, even as bad as they are. I don't even think the Saints would be 5.5-point favorites against that bad team, that high school team that plays in the NFL from Illinois. I don't think they'd be 5.5-point favorites against them. The fact that we are catching 5.5, I know it's on the road. Yeah, United Township. They probably wouldn't be 5.5-point favorites against United Township. Jameis Winston will throw picks to them all day. Listen, Gino, there is going to be a time and place when Geno Smith turns into a pumpkin. We are not thinking today is that day. As we said, or you guys said earlier, no Thomas, no Landry for the Saints. So I don't think they'll be too explosive. With Kamara back, they could be very run game dependent, maybe. So that all of those signs lead to us staying within the number. So Seahawks plus 5.5, I love, absolutely love. And now we get to we're holding on to our nose here because we're going to Los Angeles and we're taking the Cowboys plus 5.5. Now, I really like this, but this is also, we are waiting again. It's worse here than for Geno Smith because Geno Smith's bad night's just going to be, 16 for 35, 180 yards, and like a touchdown, a pick, and a fumble. The Cooper Rush regression game is going to be really bad. Like 4 turnovers, not even 200 yards passing. So when the Cooper Rush regression game happens, it's going to be horrendous. So we have to pray that today isn't the day. But the principle here all says take the Cowboys. Again, principle, same thing for the Seahawks. We always go with principle. That's why we're fading that team from Illinois. With the Cowboys catching 5.5, even though it's on the road, the Rams' offensive line is horrendous right now. There's a chance Micah Parsons has his I'm the MVP of the league game today. When it comes to the Cowboys moving the ball, I think they'll be efficient enough to where I think this is a lower scoring game, and a lower scoring game means 5.5 points. We love that number. I think that it is a great opportunity. Listen, again, is betting hard-earned American dollars on Cooper Rush and Geno Smith always smart? No. But again, when it lines up with principle, you have to do it. Principle is the word of the day. It is the word of every day in sports gambling. So those are our 4 picks we are rolling with today on the NFL side. Ones that just missed the cut were Chiefs -7. It was really close, DJ. It was really close because the Chiefs own the Raiders. But the Raiders, I think, are better than what they have shown at 1-3. And I believe there is a chance that game could be close. And the Raiders are still in a desperation type spot. You always back like a desperate team. That's why we were on the Niners last week. Desperate team at home needing to win. So I don't. That's why I couldn't really fade the Raiders in that game, even though I think I bet about halfway through the first quarter I'm going to regret that decision. The other one that just missed the cut was the Niners in Carolina. Today is going to prove whether or not we're going to fade the Panthers the rest of the year. If they just get toasted, as I said to Mac last week, as long as the lines with the Panthers aren't egregious, their schedule for the next 2 months is just a train wreck. Yeah. So we are going to potentially, today is going to be a setup for us fading Carolina. And by the way, I see what you guys are putting in the chat here. We might start fading Green Bay in large numbers as well, because they are proving to be a team, as the kids say, aka Colin Cowherd is throwing this out there. They can only win one day, and they might not even win today as 8-point favorites against a team whose both quarterbacks are banged up, even though DJ's playing. But so yeah, those are our 4, and the couple that we were close on: Vikings -7, Lions +3.5, Seahawks +5.5. Cowboys +5.5.
I'm playing.
Questions, concerns, all that. Oh, yeah, you, DJ. You'd probably be about as mobile as Danny Dimes today with that bum ankle, though he looks like he's been solid. So,
Or they call me Donnie Dimes.
Donnie Dimes. So yeah, do you guys think I'm nuts? Am I good today? I really like where we're at. That Lions one's going to be iffy. That Lions one might be more hold on to your nose than the Cowboys.
Can I pick both? Can I think that you're nuts and accurate today?
Yeah, probably.
All right,
I mean,
Joe, I think those are some good bets. What we're going to do here, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. Then we're going to come back and we're going to talk prop bets.
This episode is brought to you by Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill in Moline and Davenport. Chase away your Sunday scaries at Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill this season. Located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sunday, there's no better place to be. Clints is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And is your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games? Well, you'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City style pop pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC-style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clints part of your Sunday football routine. Clints Drafthouse, Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. And also, Clint is now serving up their famous pizza and fried chicken on the Iowa side of the river as well. Clint's Pizza House and Chicken opens up daily at 4 p.m. so everyone in the Quad Cities can enjoy their QC-style pizza and Henny Penny fried chicken. That's Clint Pizza House and Chicken, 7th Street Moline, and 1601 West 3rd Street in Davenport.
The moment I say in the chat that
For Fantasy's Sake has teamed up with Route 96 Boutique to raise a little more cash for Toys for Tots this season. From September 11th until the end of November, 10% off of all purchases made with Route 96 on Sundays will be donated to us for our Toys for Tots drive. At Route 96, they believe in girl power. They want a place that people of all shapes and sizes can shop and feel empowered and beautiful. They want you to be the best you possible, and they are committed to bringing you different styles while also providing some basics to express the true you. You can find them on Facebook and at Route96Boutique.com. Again, that's Route96Boutique.com.
That's a fantastic take, Nick, in the chat. Nick had the Giants under 26.5, so that PAT wrecked it. So he wanted them to miss, which is a fantastic take, and I definitely like it.
I've gone through so many emotions as a fantasy holder and a football fan in the last hour. My thing is I always have guys that get hurt. So the fact that I thought in a span of 6 days I lost both of my running backs because I thought Saquon might be out. Then he just comes back and dominates a drive, hits me with the little jelly finger roll over the goal line. We're back, baby. We're back. We're so back.
Speaking of parlays, anybody got any good prop bets that they like today and have their London and or American dollars on?
Well, I'll tell you what. I just mentioned that I needed a Saquon touchdown. I've got a 4-touchdown parlay with Jamal Williams, Austin Eckler, and Alvin Kamara today. $10 free bet to win $150. I'm hoping all those guys can score. I got my Barkley in there.
I will
75% of the way to go.
Alvin Kamara might be some risky money, but hey, if you got free dollars, why not, right?
High risk, high reward.
There you go.
I like to sometimes stay away from, not sometimes. I like to usually like to stay away from to score bets, but I got Mike Evans in there this week as a TD scorer. Even before I knew that Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry weren't going to play, I liked Olave today, so I hammered him with an over 63.5. I'm one of those lunatics. I like to do the round robin parlays. So basically I do a 5-team or 5-bet parlay, but I also like double bet them every week. So like if any 2 of my parlays hit, it can be good for me. Does that make sense? I also like Brees Hall over 71.5. Joe Mixon over 60.5. And Mike Williams over 66.5. And my Brees Hall over 71.5 is rushing plus receiving. It's total yards.
Honestly, yeah, that's better than real quick, who's gonna be the main? Is Cordero Patterson out today?
He's
Yeah.
out for the next 4 weeks, including
So he's-
today. Yeah.
So he's out.
He's in
Okay.
the IR.
I'm going to be interested in tracking today in that Atlanta Bucks game how the Falcons run the ball, because the Chiefs, again, I think the Bucks thing was a one-off against the Chiefs, but maybe there could be some stuff there to gain in the running game, and the Falcons run the ball really, really well. So we'll see. I'm interested to see, maybe if you're someone who thinks that Tampa Bay thing wasn't a one-off on Sunday, maybe some sauce, some sprinkles on some rushing stuff for the Falcons today might be feasible.
What's the Huntley over on that game?
Yeah, definitely check that out here for you. One moment.
While you do that, I'm also back on the Christian Kirk props this week. Avoided him last week with the weather and the matchup with Philly, but this week against the Texans, I'm liking Kirk's over 66.5, and I think it was 5.5 receptions. Let me double check. Yep, 5.5.
I love Kirk
I like
this
both
week.
of them.
So Huntley's over 27.5, and Tyler Algier is 44.5.
I would slam the Huntley. I think he's the leading rusher between the two of those guys, and I know that's a contrarian play, but that's okay.
I also believe too.
How we make our money around here, Brian.
Oh, but
What was that, DJ?
So that's how we make our money around here, making contrarian bets.
You got to make contrarian bets, and I'm saying Huntley. I was the one on Neon Dion the other day on our show, so it's okay.
Here's an interesting parlay. These things never win when DraftKings give you parlays, but Austin Eckler over 60, Austin Eckler touchdown, Nick Chubb over 85, Nick Chubb touchdown.
What are the odds?
Plus 750.
I don't love the Eckler over 60, but I think the rest of it's slam dunk.
Gonna put $1 on it.
I think it's a decent enough play. You never can tell with Eckler on the rushing side.
Got $1 on it.
I was gonna say, so Nick was talking about Christian Kirk. Could be a day to sprinkle some love on them running backs as well. The Texans are horrendous at stopping the run. I mean, they made Austin Eckler look good last week, and Austin Eckler might be mid. So, just want to
James
throw that out
Robinson's
there.
my DFS play of the day. We didn't ask about single plays, so.
Well, hey, I'll let you get that. I'll let you get your game off. I'll segue into you getting your game off there, man. But yeah, the Jags, I think, could have a big day today, offensively.
That's fair. No, I definitely think that's fair. Let's check out to see what we can get single game parlay here for you, Joe, with those Jags running backs. Okay, I'm pulling up another DraftKings wonderful app here. With DraftKings, www.draftkings.com.
Download the app in your Play Store.
Hey, if you want me to invite you, I can. We both get some money. If you bet right now, they have a new customers bet $5 to win $200 in free bets on if your first money line bet wins. So if you want me to invite you, let me know. I'd like some free money too, or maybe Nick would like free money. Whatever. Or maybe Joe wants free money. I don't know. I don't know how Joe. Entertainment purposes. I feel like there's something we shouldn't be saying here, but we're saying it anyway.
If I understood this tender section, I think Joe's probably single. Otherwise, I'd take free money for sure.
I got a question here. If you had to pick one guy to score a touchdown today, who do you think it is?
Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Alan Lazard. Yes.
Hey.
Scored.
Saquon Barkley. No, I'll go T. Higgins.
Okay.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Mike Evans.
So all receivers. Okay.
What'd you have? Did you have anything?
Well, I mean, I've got that parlay, but the
Okay.
DraftKings also has a you can boost any touchdown scorer by plus 100.
I
So
saw that.
you could take a guy that's minus money like Henry or Eckler or Chubb and boost him by plus 100 and get more than double your money on it. So was just curious if you guys had any insights before I make some plays here.
What do you
I
think?
think real quick, running back wise, maybe good value on Ramondre, maybe some good value on Jamal in that game. Probably solid value on a Niners running back, Wilson. Or
And
the
put me in
Jags.
for Pierce.
Yeah,
Huh?
Henry was the one I had my eye on just because he had the lowest odds, and you could get more than plus 100 on him. But Washington actually has been decent against running, at least from fantasy perspectives. I'll have to look into how they've fared against running back scoring the football, but he's one that I was also keeping an eye on. You could get him to score for plus 166 with this promo.
I've got no read on that Titans Commanders game today. I think anybody who actually goes and bets on that game probably should check themselves into gambling.
Yeah, I'm staying away, and I don't want to figure out who's going to be the leading rusher for Washington for sure.
All
I
right,
traded
let's
away
hit our
Gibson.
final commercial break. Come back. We'll answer some questions here, help win some fantasy matchups, and then we'll head out, okay? All right, sounds good. Great.
For Fantasy's Sake has teamed up with Route 96 Boutique to raise a little more cash for Toys for Tots this season. From September 11th until the end of November, 10% off of all purchases made with Route 96 on Sundays will be donated to us for our Toys for Tots drive. At Route 96, they believe in girl power. They want a place that people of all shapes and sizes can shop and feel empowered and beautiful. They want you to be the best you possible, and they are committed to bringing you different styles while also providing some basics to express the true you. You can find them on Facebook and at Route96Boutique.com. Again, that's Route96Boutique.com.
All righty. We've got a good chunk of listener questions here. Some interesting questions we got here. So first question we've got from Mr. Gunnar Haskins. Pick one for Superflex. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Zach Wilson, or Geno Smith.
I'll go ahead and go St. Brown.
I almost lean Geno just for the fact that Amon-Ra is not 100%. And obviously with a quarterback, you've got a higher ceiling, but I'll say it with confidence. I'll take Geno there.
Someone's got to love Geno. We'll go Amon-Ra. We're going to stay with Amon-Ra. 2v2, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
it's a war.
This is a question from Joe Winkle. Which bear is best? Bears, Beats, or Battlestar Galactica?
Definitely not the team that plays in Illinois. So I guess like Battlestar Galactica. I don't know.
Cousin Bo wants to know, TD Heavy. Are we going Deontay, Brees, Raheem Mostert, or Josh Palmer?
Brees for me.
Brees probably. Brees or
Yeah, it's
Devontae?
got to be Breeze here.
Yeah, Brees for me as well, Cousin Bo.
Iowa State could have used him last night.
Huh?
Iowa State could have used him last night.
Yeah, 10-9 loss. Tough luck.
Did Jarrell Brock get hurt? Sorry.
He did last week, but he played
Okay.
yesterday. I don't think he got hurt again.
Okay.
Non-PPR, pick two. Chubb, Fournette, Damian Harris, Antonio Gibson.
Give me the first.
You want
two.
the first two, Chubb and Fournette.
Agreed.
Big Nick and Lenny. I'm with you on that.
Nick?
Yeah, I said the first two also.
Next one, non-PPR, Debo or Travis Kelce?
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Travis Kelce. They're gonna.
Oh, this one hurt. I'm going to say Debo.
Non-PPR? God, man. Who do the 49ers play this week?
Carolina.
Jinx. At Carolina. Noon game.
Dang, that's why is
10 a.m.
why is Travis Kelce not your tight end?
Yeah,
Like, you
I'm
have to-
wondering. Hey, Cousin Bo, if you're listening, who are you playing at tight end?
Yeah, who are you starting at tight end over Travis Kelce that you have to flex and maybe not start him?
Good question. Y'all, I didn't even think of that. Y'all are pros, man. I'm just an ordinary mo. Here, man.
While we wait for
that
Cousin
person,
Bo,
if you're even considering benching either one of those guys, just put them both on the bench this week.
Yep.
yeah, I'd like to know what this team looks like, Cousin Bo.
No kidding. You're loaded if you got to choose one of them.
No tight end required.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Start them both.
Okay. Well,
Kelce.
at least there's a good reason why that's a question. Okay.
He's going to get in the end zone. We'll go Kelce.
Yeah, I think I'll lean there.
PPR, 2 flex. Hunt, Russell Gage, Josh Palmer, Zacchaeus, Dallas Goddard.
Goddard and Hunt.
Same here. Yep.
Yeah. Hunt,
Yep.
Who was the second one you said?
Russell Gage, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'll go. I'll agree with the other guys.
Could be. That'll be interesting to note though, because y'all said I think we saw Julio ain't gonna play. That's like the Russell Gage thing is a little thing to put in the back burner if like Brady trusts him to be his like third guy when Julio isn't there, because Julio's a part timer now.
So, Bo,
yeah, but with that point spread, the Bucks be ahead most of the game. So
true.
Bo, I know
Oh,
that
man.
you're still in here. I know you're a Packers fan, so I thank you for split screening this game and us. What do your other pass catchers look like in this league? Is my question. So we'll answer that one as well while we wait. George Antar from Facebook wants to know pick 2: Garrett Wilson, Devin Duvernay, Zay Jones.
who was the last one?
Zay Jones.
I'll take Duvernay. I'll take the first two, Garrett Wilson and Duvernay.
Agreed.
Yep. I like those two.
Wilson and Jones.
All right. The next one is Gerald Everett or Pat Fryermuth.
Got to be Gerald Everett all day long. And I'm a Steelers fan.
Yeah, Everett. The Steelers might lose by 46 today.
Unfortunately, yes.
QB2, Garrett Wilson or Andy Dalton? Zach
I
Wilson.
want to play contrarian and go with Dalton.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll take Dalton there too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, man. Yeah, Dalton, because I guess that you probably trust that more than Wilson. But I really liked what Wilson did last week, man. But I just don't know how they'll hold up today. So I guess the better bet would be Dalton.
And last one here, Teddy Bridgewater or Zach Wilson?
Give me Teddy.
Teddy covers, baby.
I'm going to go with Wilson here. I think the Jets win.
So
Let's go, Nick. Teddy covers.
His pass catchers are Diggs, Pittman, Deontay, Kirk, Pickens, Debo, Kelce, Goddard. So that's
Yikes. Yeah, wow. That's a lot. Okay.
good setup.
You got options, bud.
All right, rapid fire time, boys. We don't have very many of them today. We'll make things up as we go. More total yards today. We all said we really like this game. Nick Chubb or Austin Eckler?
Eckler.
I'm going Chubb.
Chubb
Chubb as well. What's going to be higher today? Justin Fields passing yards or Justin Jefferson receiving yards?
The second one. Fade.
Is that even a
fade
question?
fade the high school team that plays in the NFL in the state of Illinois.
I'll take Fields there. Let's go with it.
Boo.
I wonder if that's an actual. Can we put money on this? Is this a DraftKings which player option?
Points bet, you can make your own bet. You could submit it and see what they do for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're a bunch of degenerates over here.
We really are, aren't we?
I think that our setup of games is actual dog doo-doo this week, except for the Sunday night and Monday night. So what are you guys watching today?
I'm excited to see my new boy Teddy covers and see him let it rip. Big spot today for the Dolphins.
I'm all day long. I'm watching the Cardinals Eagles game.
I will be watching the NFL Red Zone channel.
That Browns Chargers game should be fun.
Yeah,
That's
the
an
one
early
that's
game,
most
right?
Intriguing to me, outside of obviously the Dolphins game.
So Nick, it looks like that touchdown score thing is a same game is three legs.
Oh, the one that I'm talking about was posted on Twitter by Pixwise, maybe.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So
It's
DraftKings
a
is given
specific promo you have to go through Twitter to get the link for.
DraftKings is given a 25% boost on any three leg touchdown score parlay, which is very interesting.
Yeah. Not as enticing to me.
I was really hoping that the game I'd be watching today was going to be the St. Louis Cardinals, Philadelphia Phillies.
Tough.
I will not be watching that.
Big tough.
Big tough, big sad.
Bad Sunday for MLB execs.
I get the Mets Padres.
That is true. But I mean, they probably didn't expect only one of them to get to a third game.
That is accurate. So I went 3-leg parlay, Mike Evans, Nick Chubb, Chris Olave, and I'm getting plus 972 on it.
All to score?
All to score.
That's awesome. I like that parlay.
Send it in. Send it in.
It looks like the Packers are going to lose this game.
And it's hilarious.
Well, Hail Mary Rodgers.
They're going to get the ball back?
They got a punt yet with 15 seconds.
They've got
left.
a punt with 15 seconds. Do you take the safety here?
No.
Did Dobbs get more catches than 2 for the game?
No, he's at 2.
How many wins would it take for Brian Daboll to get Coach of the Year?
Yeah, they're about to be 4-1. So
I was say 4-1 is going to be way more impressive now than 3-1 was because of who they just beat if this holds.
And I'm still not going to have him in my Elite Eight. I won't. I just won't.
So.
How many did they win last year? 4 or something?
Not.
Let's see. 4-13. They're going to match their win total in 5 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets 8, if you double it, you definitely have to be in the consideration, right?
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Who have the Giants beat?
They beat the Packers today in the next 15 seconds. They beat a high school team last week. They beat who were the other 2 wins?
I was just trying to get you to say.
Titans. They beat the Titans week 1.
They beat the Titans and the Panthers.
I was just trying to get you to say the Bears. Okay.
Like you said, 4-1 looks a lot better than 3-1.
Absolutely. Last rapid. Oh, they are going to take the safety maybe if the Packers can get over there. Yep. 10 seconds to go.
That's just interesting to me because against Aaron Rodgers, you've got the Hail Mary perspective that could tie the game, and now it would win the game if they hit it.
That's accurate. And
it would be absolutely hilarious if that actually happened.
And there's going to be a flag, presumably, for holding. Okay. Again, we don't have the licensing to talk about this game. We've already broken the rules. Final thing, final rapid fire. You got a favorite Halloween movie?
Halloween itself.
Beetlejuice, is that considered a Halloween movie?
As long as you don't say it 3 times, my friend.
Which Halloween movie? There's like 77 of them.
That's why I
Just
like
like-
it. If you don't like one, you can always like the other.
No, I'm
That's
talking
true.
about the Michael Myers one.
That's what he's saying.
Same here.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. I am not a Halloween guy. It's not my cup of tea.
That's fair. I'm gonna say Hocus Pocus.
It's the most bland answer you've ever given me.
Screw you, Joe. Before we go, I'm going to fill the Chris Steele role today. I want to thank everybody for watching, sending in questions, all of our sponsors, all the people who were playing in our Toys for Tots League, raising money, Route 96 for helping us along to stack the cash for the kids of the Quad Cities. I want to thank Brian, Nick, and Joe for being on the show today. It was a good time as always. To steal Brian's line, I hope everybody, wish everybody good luck in your matchups. Even why isn't the clock running? Even more luck on your entertainment purposes, bets. Anybody got anything they wanna add?
No, you stole my line, so may every photo finish be a winning one. That's all I got to say.
All right. Well, enjoy games today. We'll see you next week right here on For Fantasy's Sake. Make sure to tune in to Joe on Educated Ignorance, of course. I forgot to say that. But we'll see you next Sunday.
We're going to yell about the Packers a lot if they don't play.